to be exact, will be the 30th anniversary of WrestleMania 11, which took place at Hartford, Connecticut, at the Hartford Civic Center. The attendance was 16,305. The buy rate in North America was 240,000 people, homes, what they call that. Many people look at WrestleMania 11 as arguably the worst WrestleMania in history of the company. I did a question of the week on my podcast about 2 weeks ago on my socials, where I asked, give me a best WrestleMania and give me worst WrestleMania. And almost every single person that responded said that WrestleMania 11 was the worst WrestleMania they've ever watched. Rob, I'm not mistaken, because I know I wasn't either at the time. I was out of wrestling at this point. For this year or 2 years. This was obviously the down years of the WWE. People, like I said, people complain about 2019 and 2016 was horrible. And blah, blah, blah. I'm like, brother and sister, listen, go back to 1993, 94, 95 specifically, okay, and come back to me later about how bad wrestling is, because that was the down year of the WWE. That was the doldrums of the WWE. I wasn't watching. I know what's going on, but I wasn't watching week to week. I mean, shit, I wasn't even watching even the main events, even the pay-per-views back then. What is your reflection on WrestleMania 11, Rob?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a conversation for worst ever. And look, 1995 as a year.
What were you doing in 95? I was
I,
15. I
I
turned
was in
15.
college. Yeah, I was in college. Uh, but so I mean, I've gone back. I've watched some of this stuff, retroactively. But from all
Still bad.
accounts,
Still bad.
if you look from all accounts, 1995 was like the worst year as far as wrestling product of our lifetimes. Not
In
just
both those WW too.
Yeah, because that was the worst of like the that was the worst of the Hogan stuff. That's when
I agree.
in '95. That's when basically he had run out all of the last remnants of the kind of traditional kind of NWA folks, and he had all his buddies in there, and like the few guys who were left, you know, there were a few guys who were left, but it was '95 was just bad year
Yeah.
creatively. Because look, I mean, it was down to WWE and WCW, and they were both bad that year. And so, look, yeah, anytime I see somebody complaining about 2019, just stop it, okay? Stop
I
it.
get why people say Planet 2 was bad, but it was nowhere. It wasn't 1995 bad. Stop.
Okay, yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
lived
Look,
both of them. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about.
yeah, look, okay, because one, again, if you give a damn about women's wrestling, 2019 was a really excellent year,
Yeah.
and then 2019 also was Kofi Mania. And so I'm sorry, you're not going to tell me that one of the best years of women's wrestling and the year where we got Kofi Mania, you were not going to tell me that that was the worst year ever when
Yeah.
95
So
exists.
true. So true. Look at this card. And only that, look at this card. Look how badly booked this thing was, too, also. You had the first match. You had a tag team match between the allied powers of Lex Luger and British Bulldog, who defeated the Blue Brothers of Jacob Blue and Eli Blue, right? You had
Yes.
a IC title match between Razor Ramon beating Jeff Jarrett, okay? By the way, Razor Ramon had 1, 2, 3 kids in his corner, and Jeff Jarrett had the roadie in his corner by disqualification. The Undertaker defeating King Kong Bundy, okay, with Larry Young as special guest referee.
King Kong Bundy in 1995, by the way, not
Yes, yeah, exactly. This is not King of Bunny. This is not WrestleMania 2 at King of Bunny against Hogan. Okay, this is literally 9 years later. The Undertaker beat. Okay, I said that already. Sorry about that. Tag team title match of Owen Hart and Yokozuna with Mr. Fuji and Jim Cornette in the corner, defeating the Smoking Guns of the Billy Gunn and Bart Gunn. How about this? Bret Hart, not in the main event whatsoever, beats Bob Backlund in an I Quit match. Now, granted, this was a hot feud. Remember Brett lost his title to Backlund the year before, 2 years before that actually. Was
yeah,
the year before that? Yeah, year before that.
yeah.
Yeah, an I Quit match with Roddy Piper special referee. And then you had probably the only watchable match on this entire card. Diesel with Pamela Anderson in his corner defeating Shawn Michaels with Sid and Jenny McCarthy in his corner for the world title. And of course,
And
go ahead.
that's a B show main event. That should not be.
Right now, that was actually a good match. People say that match sucked. I thought it was a good match actually, but against Shawn Michaels, you know.
Yeah, I mean that was when Sean could do no wrong when the bell rang. I
Right,
mean,
but if I want to tell you, and by the way, we're going to do this at some point, me, and DJ at some point, we're going to rank our Shawn Michaels matches of WrestleMania matches all time. I will still probably put this on the bottom of the list. This is a spoiler alert, most likely. And that's not saying much because considering how much great matches he does have. You know what I mean? This is probably on the bottom of the list, or close to the bottom of the list for me. And then the main event, of course, Lawrence Taylor defeating Bam Bam Bigelow in a singles match. Oh, God, the Grizzly shits they call that, right?
Yeah, I mean, people. I mean, some people said Lawrence Taylor did fine for a guy who had never.
Given what it was fine. But look, if you're stacking manias up year to year to year to year to year to year, again, like I said earlier in the podcast, if you take away Brett and Austin, maybe this is worse. Maybe this is not as bad as 13. But Brett Austin saves 13. You know what I'm saying? What other WrestleManias you consider bottom? Like I'm not a fan of 1 and 2 personally. I've heard people shit on 32 actually a lot. I don't know why.
What's funny now? WrestleMania 2 was the first one that was the first one that I actually watched start to finish because they showed it on like I guess
TV?
got some deal to show it on basic cable like a few months later. So and I was 12 years old, so I thought it was like the greatest thing ever at the time. Okay, but in hindsight, WrestleMania 2 is not very good.
No, it's not. I in fact, 1 and 2 are the ones I don't watch. I would probably watch 11 before I watch 1 and 2. Honestly,
I
the
watched.
only reason I watch 2 is probably because of Savage and the match sucked. Savage and
Georgia Animal Steel.
And then Hogan and Bundy. Even though that match was terrible too.
But the battle royal with the NFL players I thought that was a fun match.
Yeah.
Because they going into it, like they had some vignettes and some scenes with like Big John Studd getting into it with a bunch of the different NFL players. So there was something there, you know. There was some kind of drama and some tension there with him and the NFL guys. But then also, like you could see at the end of that match that Andre was cooked. I mean,
of course,
that
was the first major sign of Andre being done. That was the first massive sign.
Yeah, and so obviously, so they had to do Andre Hogan the year after that because the clock was ticking. But 2 was not very good. 11 was bad. 9 was bad. Which other ones am I not a fan of?
11, obviously not good. You mentioned not. You hate you shit on 9 earlier. Hi, Kitty Cat.
Because I mean, there were just a lot of bad. I mean, there were just so many bad finishes.
I don't hate 9 though. If people don't like 9, I don't mind 9. The finishes are shitty, probably some of them, but there's some quality matches in there though.
And also, which other ones was I say? Like to me, I mean, bad really means like bad. Like 32 was too long. 32 had a bunch of matches that were too long.
35 was too long. Also,
35 as a show was too long. But it wasn't bad.
No, it was good.
29 was not very good.
That's Cena and Rock 2, right?
Yeah, because that was like the first Cena Rock match was really good.
Yeah.
The second one was kind of a rehash, and then Rock wasn't in shape.
Right.
And then like and then the rest of the matches were mostly not very good, other than Punk and Taker.
One day, I said I keep saying this every year, and I fail. But one day, I will actually sit and watch every WrestleMania from start to finish again to freshen my mind up, and actually rank them.
Yeah, I've been trying to do that because in one of my many projects, I've been trying to do that. It's hard.
It's really hard. You have to get to the because a lot of people say, "Oh, 13 was great because of the one match," but one match doesn't make a WrestleMania. It can wait. It can wait your argument, but it won't. I'm not going to put 13 over 3 because of one match.
Yeah, and then there's also kind of your personal like look when the show's better when your favorite people win. Okay.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess. Well, see. See. Look, I have no bones. I have a problem people saying 40 is the greatest of all time. Although my only issue was that let 40 cook for a couple of years before you do that. Like let it cook a little bit, like years on the road. Like to me, my personal favorite WrestleMania is 5. You know what I mean? And it has less to do with Hogan and Macho. It has to do with the entire show in general. And to me, I always told you, but the reason why I love 5 the most is that was Jesse Ventura at his fucking peak. The commentary on that, him and Gorilla, A++++++++.
Yeah, and I, I'm not
and
sure
that
which
matters too.
I'm not sure
Huh?
which one my favorite one because
Most folks say 17 is the best one. I
I
tend to
think
agree with that.
um
Match quality wise, I tend to agree with that.
I think if you because I'd probably still go with that one because you had the main event, you had the TLC match. Um,
Yeah, it's Flair and Undertaker was really underrated. I heard too
well, that
also.
was the year before. No, Flair and Undertaker was 18.
Who did Triple H face in? Was that Jericho? Triple H
No,
was in
Triple H was
17?
against Taker at 17, and that was
That's what I'm talking about. 17. That's what I'm talking about.
okay. Okay, and then Vince versus Shane. Like, if you're talking
Yeah,
about a pure sports entertainment match, that's one of the best ones. Um, and then and you had some other matches, and then like there were a lot of other matches that were you know they were shorter, but they were good entertaining matches. So 17 probably if you look at just if you sit down and watch 17 from start to finish, I think you would probably still pick that one as the best show
yes,
from
I
start to
agree.
finish.
If I told you top 10 right now in no order, your top personal top 10 WrestleMania no order. I'll give you mine real quick though. It'll easily be 3, 5. I don't like 6 outside Hogan and Warrior. Um,
Yeah, 6 was a one match show.
I'll throw in 10 is underrated as hell. To be honest with you, 10 is really underrated. There's actually really 3 great matches in that card. But hold up for now. I go 3, 5. Uh, match quality wise. 17,
Yeah.
18, 19. As of last week, Rob, 21. And we'll touch on that last week on the next episode we do. We do a recap on that one. 21 is very underrated actually now in hindsight. Um, I love no, it's 30. It's 30. 30 is good. Love 30. Um, these last couple 40s up there, 39s up there,
Yeah.
38 with Austin. Yeah, 30 was great. Even 37. Even 37 was really good. Even though that was the first pandemic one, post pandemic one. So yeah, I have to redo the list again though. But match
Yeah.
quality wise, those are my immediate 9 or 10 I go to.
And for me, I'm like, it's funny because 32 has some of my favorite matches on it. There are a couple of
Yeah.
individual matches that,
I just watched it actually recently too. Also, that's
yeah, I
pretty good
mean,
actually.
the triple threat women's match and then the ladder match, to me are two of the best ones, period. But then again, the main event went too long, and then that cell match with Taker and Shane was like a half hour, and and there was some, and then there was some, like you have AJ Styles lose to Chris Jericho, like I don't, but if I had to pick favorites, like I see, I still like 33. A lot of people hated the main event, but to me, like, because I was Roman and Taker, a lot of people hate, people crap on the main event. I didn't think it was that bad.
Hmm.
Um, and then I was really digging 34 up until the main event. Like 34 is an example where the main event just kills the show.
Yeah.
Uh,
34 is of course Brock. Is it no?
that's Brock
No,
and
is that
Roman.
Brock?
That's Brock and
You hate the finish, right?
well, that and then the match wasn't very good either.
I just watched that. I just watched that actually like a
It was
couple
just
days ago. Actually,
it was finisher spam for 15 minutes or whatever, and then that was the one where like, and then also like that was one where again the result and the aftermath had an immediate direct effect on business. Like that result and what came immediately after just turned a lot of people off.
hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, like 35 was as a show was just too long. 36 had some good matches, but it was just weird because the whole indoors the PC
Yeah,
thing.
of course.
Um, so yeah, it's hard coming up with a list because
Yeah. I mean, one day, say for the top. That's top one day. We'll do a top 10 mania because the thing is also like I mean, if I threw my favorite match all time there, then I'm gonna tell you 13 to my top 10 because of that one match. But I don't think it's fair to just throw one match and have that weigh an entire WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? I think it's fair. You need at least 2-3 good matches to at least consider having a top to WrestleMania. You know, and that card outside of Austin and Brett has nothing. So I don't know. I wouldn't go that far, but
Yeah.
maybe down the road we'll do like a WrestleMania top 10 WrestleMania um uh show. So anyway,